All right, so in this portion, I'm going to walk through how we change um, this multi-directional hillshade value to kind of match the monochromatic look that we had from our first step, where we just kind of overlaid this US topo map with the background layer. Um, so, this US topo map, just to kind of go into why we're doing this, this is a collection of different USGS 7.5 minute quadrangle maps, right, that are all just stitched together. Um, so it can look good for our purposes at the state level or like at the country level when we're doing that kind of monochromatic shading. When we get down to something more detailed, then it really starts to break down and gets too cluttery and too convoluted to really make much use of. But we want to try to capture this basic same design, except for our using this layer, the terrain multi-directional hillshade layer. So let's turn this one off. We'll turn this one on. And you can see first thing is that it has this crazy color ramp, right? So let's go to the symbology. And let's change that primary symbology from color map to stretch. Okay. And then there's our hillshade and our color scheme values. So now let's go to color scheme properties, and let's change this color to our color that we're using. For me, I'm using blackberry here, and I'll just see how that gradient looks. Okay, and that provides a little bit of texture and consistent with my color scheme. I want it to be a bit more purple. It kind of fades through this pink color more than I'd like it to before it goes to white. So basically what I want to do is I want to take this purple and I want to extend it out to about here, give or take, and then let it kind of continue the rest of the way. Before I do that, I'm going to open up my map properties, go to my color properties of my background. And I had it before on a previous step. It was here, my color at 0 transparency. I'm going to move this to 50. And that way, if I use blend modes and it's going to interact with the layer below, what it's interacting with is this semi-transparent version of my blackberry color. And that just makes it a little bit softer, a little bit, yeah, a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so do that first. So, like I said, I want to go into here. I want to fix this color ramp so it does not go through this kind of pinkish as much. What I'll do is I'm just going to go add a color. This color, I'm going to change this to my primary color. And there's still a little bit where it goes through pink here. Let's see what it looks like. That's not bad. And if I make it interact with the layer below, which is that semi-transparent background layer that I have, then that looks pretty good. And let's change this to 25%. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. A pretty simple little fix. And you can go in, if it's not looking exactly like you like, you can go in and fiddle with this more. You can add more steps and gradients. You could have it say, I want this to go to 33. I want this one to go to 60. I want this one to be a little bit transparent. Kind of just iteratively work through different scenarios that might make it look slightly better for you. Each color is going to be slightly different. Your taste is going to be slightly different. The key is really what you want to do is just get the terrain map so that it goes through your color scheme nicely, that you're happy with. Why isn't this working? Never good. So that it goes through your color, it interacts with the terrain nicely. It doesn't freeze. That always makes for a bad example when things freeze. There we go. I'll just go ahead and save while I'm doing this. And yeah, so I like that. Making these little small minor changes leaves the background pretty nice. Maybe I want this to be a little bit more purple, a little bit less white on the layer that it interacts with. You know, what happens if I change this to say 25? So, you know, find the sweet spot that you're looking for, what makes you happy, what you can work with the rest of the way, and yeah, then we'll keep going. All right, good luck.